Hello everyone, C.Mousse here and welcome to the third and final video of me trying to beat Calamity Wrath of Gods for the first time. Now just to remind you guys again that the mods I use for this series will be in the description below. Now onto the video. Okay, after I came back from heaven, I was obviously perplexed. But I looked at the boss list and I was going to fight AlchemistNPC. But funny thing is that in the Calamity wiki, it states that AlchemistNPC is technically a hard mode boss and not a post-moon lord boss. So, oopsies. Anyway, to sum this thing, I need to get a Titan Heart and use it in the beacon in the Ashton biome. Now this fight wasn't that bad, until it gave birth to twins which my pea-brain head couldn't handle and died. But the next day I was ready to kill the space worm. So now that AlchemistNPC is defeated, I can now go and mine astral ore. So with those ores I made them into astral bars and made a true biome blade, which speaks for itself. So now with this inflated ego, I made the profound shard to summon the overpowered balls, and also made the dragonfly spawning item, but we'll get into that in a bit. So I spawned in and yep, I died. I spawned in again, but because I think I flew away from the hollowed biome to space, the boss despawned, which hurted my ego a bit. So I went to make another weapon, the Arc of the Elements, and with this weapon I went over to the jungle biome and spawned in the dragonfly. So even though I just got a new weapon, I want another one, and this weapon is the Virulence, which drops from the Plague Bringer Goliath. So I just went ham and cheese killing this boss. After I obtained the sword, I went over to the hollowed biome and spawned in those 3 meatballs again. Okay, so now that was done and dusted, I grabbed the spawn item for Providence and spawned it and died twice. But luckily third time the charm, I spawned it and killed the goddess. So when you kill Providence, it will drop an item called the Rune of Boss, which is basically an item that spawns in a boss, but it varies depending on your location. So next I went to the jungle and mined a bunch of Like for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to call it the bloom ore and the bloom bars. So I mined a bunch of them, crafted them into the bloom bars, and made the melee Tarragon armor set, Life Hunt Scythe, and the Morning Star. Okay, so one of the boss that spawns from the Rune of Cost is the Stormweaver. So the first fight was just me seeing what the attack pattern was, and if I kill it, it was a bonus. So obviously I got manhandled, but it had less than 10% of its HP left, so I was fairly confident I would kill it next time. Right, so the next boss out of the 3 trio is the Ceaseless Void, which spawns in the dungeon. So originally I was mining out the area for the Ceaseless Void, because when I spawned in the first time, I realized that I need a lot more space, then do Cygnus, then fight Poltergast in that order. But what I didn't know, if you kill 30 Phantom Spirits, Poltergast spawns in. So yeah, enjoy. Yeah, so I defeated Poltergeist before I even defeated the rune bosses, and if you noticed at all, I didn't bring any healing potions, so I just fought this boss without healing on my first try. Quite impressive for me. So after the Poltergeist fight, I thought I could do the Cease's Void, and I was horribly wrong. So I went back home and made the Bloodfare armor set. I mined some more blocks out from the area and fought the Void. Then straight after, I teleported to Hell to spawn in Cygnus, and I was doing pretty well up until like the last 5 seconds. Then I was literally inting the fight and died when I had like 3% HP left. So I went back to Hell. Wow, that's a statement. Mined some more blocks for extra headroom and spawned in Cygnus. Now with the Rune Trio and Poltergeist defeated, I was on my way to the Devourer of Gods, but I wanted some weapon upgrades. I wanted to kill Old Duke, so one of the weapons I wanted was a Death Ascension, which I could have crafted it after the Ceaseless Void, and that was simple to make. And the other challenging weapon was the Last Morning, and the challenging part for me was the Reaper Tooth, which was found in the Abyss, but I kept dying to the goddamn enemies in the 3rd and 4th layer, and I got to the point where I just put in the chat that I was mad. I said this to myself. Okay, so after I built the arena on the Sulphur Sea, I built this thing which can place honey, so I can quickly get some honey mid-fight. I spawned in Old Duke. Okay, so now that Old Duke was defeated, The next boss was the infamous Devourer of God. Now I didn't have anything to upgrade in terms of my armor, weapons or accessories at the time, so I just made the Devourer of God spawner and bought some potions and summoned the boss, then died, then spawned it again, and died, again, then I spawned it again. Alright, nice. So after the Devourer of Gods was killed, I made the Godslayer armor, which requires Cosmolite bars and Ascendant Spirit Essence, and made the Elysian Traces. Then I tested the waters for Yaron, and I fucking drowned. So I went home and made the Empyrean knives, and grabbed some potions and fought Yaron again. Okay, so now it's time for the big dogs. So next up was the Exomechs, which is like a tier 3 of the mech bosses. So what I did was I made a massive arena dedicated to the Exomechs and Calamitus. So I mined a bunch of massive trees on the ground and then I flattened it so it's smooth. Then I added the usual asphalt blocks and the buff furnitures. Now this boss fight I died so many times, like I genuinely believe that I died more times at this boss than my entire playthrough combined. I then made a couple of upgrades like the Cosmic Viper engine and the Auric Tesla armor and the Arc of the Cosmos, but that didn't help. I then got to my tipping point and decided to just research how to kill this thing, so I expanded my arena by a lot. I then fought it once more, then got dismantled. I then did the last fight for the night. Oh my god, I finally beat this piece of poo of a boss. Okay, so with the XMX loot and a little bit of farming, I made the Exo Blade, which looks sick. And I also made the Altar of the Accursed. If you have the Ashes of Calamity, you'll then be able to spawn in the Supreme Witch. I then went back to the arena and placed the altar on the ground and spawned it. Yeah, I didn't know why, but I thought it would just create space, so I just continued to fight it to learn its attack pattern, and so I died. Can you believe that? Then I placed a couple of blocks in the air so I can get the max space I can in the fight, and fought it. That's right, I killed it only on my second try, instead of being bent over by the Exomex constantly. So this is where we finished Calamity Mod, but we're playing the Wrath of Gods extension, so there's actually 2 more bosses to beat the game. So the boss we need to defeat in order to fight the nameless deity is a boss called Entropic God Noxus. And to spawn in this boss, you're going to need stone and shadow spec bars, Draden's Forge. Now it's time to fight Noxus. Okay, so I died many times until this happened. I paused my OBS because I kept dying to Noxus. But during this battle, I realized I could win it. And spoiler alert, I did. And I was disappointed in myself that I said I'm sorry. So my bad, but here's the full fight. Okay, so now this is the last boss of the entire series, the Grand Enchilada, the creme de la creme. I have no idea what I'm saying, but I'm just gonna go with it anyway. Anyway, I got the spawner for the nameless deity before Noxus, so I have to go looking for it. Now I can just go in head first, butt ass naked on this boss. Wow, the final boss was gone and dusted. Okay, quick side note, I saw this while I was editing. You don't actually kill the gods since they just stay at 1 HP, so I just thought that was a bit interesting. Now with the loot it drops, it was sick. You get a sun and a black hole as a light pet and a normal pet, but you also got a rock. Yep, I'm not kidding. I got a rock for killing a god. Anyways, I also got this thing that changes your background to space. So that was it, ladies and gents. That was a Terraria Calamity Wrath of Gods mod. I think we should end it with a good background and oh shit on it. What have I done? Okay, there we go. Ladies and gents, remember to subscribe and like. See ya.